We mentioned when we were looking through the newspapers the Independence lead story today, which is the situation in Syria, described by the Middle East correspondent Robert Fisk as turmoil, as resistance turns to insurrection. Reports from the northwest of the country say people are fleeing the town of Jizir al-Shugur, fearing an assault by government forces. And Britain says it will formally introduce a draft United Nations resolution this afternoon that will condemn the violence against pro-democracy activists in the country. Nabila Ramdani can tell us more, a journalist specialising in the Arab world. Good morning.
Good morning.
Is the situation escalating in Syria, or are we only now hearing about it as more and more people flee the country?
Well, it's very much escalating. I mean, so far, more than 1,000 people, at the very least, have now been killed. More than 3,000 people have been arrested and tortured, some of them to death. And these, are figures by human rights organizations. And let's bear in mind that since foreign journalists are not allowed in the country, there are very strong reasons to believe that the figures might actually be higher than that. Also, we do know that men of fighting age, i.e. over the age of 15, are rounded up at night in major cities consistently. There are also claims that mass graves have been found in the southern city of Deraa, which is the backbone of the uprising. Daily house-to-house searches are carried out. Curfews are being imposed. So the situation is very horrific indeed. And frankly, I don't think that William Hague's reaction is anything like strong enough. We're dealing with a country where men, women and children have been consistently murdered for many months, and it's only now that the British government is finally deciding to proclaim its horror. Well, many of us have been horrified for a long, long time. And again, William Hague's reiterated call for reform is far from impressive. Again, how can you still expect reform from a regime which has been killing indiscriminately?
It's not only down to Britain, though, is it? This is down to the international community, and at the end of the day, it's down to the United Nations.
Very much so, but we can see in the wording of the condemnation that it's not strong enough, and it's high time, indeed, that we have an urgent reply and a serious reply from the international community. There's a strong need for UN humanitarian teams to be sent on the ground. President Assad had promised that he would welcome such teams on the ground and never delivered on his promises. A strong need for UN peacekeeping forces as well to stop the bloodbath. Let's not forget that in 1982 his own father killed more than 20,000 people in one go.
Do you think this resolution marks the end of any efforts to protect or to sustain Assad, given the geopolitical importance of Syria?
No, I think its condemnation is not good enough at this stage. As I said, we are waiting for another hammer to happen. Again, 20,000 people were killed by Assad's own father not that long ago. And there is no doubt that Britain has been very cautious because of Syria's crucial strategic situation in the Middle East. Israel is one of its near neighbors, of course, and close friends include countries like Iran. And the Syrian regime has been involved in a very pretty rigorous PR offensive in recent years. And this has clearly worked on a lot of Western powers, and not least of all Britain.
Thank you very much, Nabila Ramdani, a journalist who specialises in the Arab world.